In this tutorial, you will be applying the crochet braid inlays into the slip stitch canals that you established while you were knitting the body of your shawl or cowl. You're going to be learning two different methods for how to apply your crochet braid inlays. The first method is best to use on the center color blocks where the underside, the wrong side of your work is not likely to be revealed while you're wearing it. So you can see it on the top, and you can also see the underside of those inlay stitches on the wrong side. The second method is visible from the top, which is what you want obviously, but it's invisible on the bottom, and that's best for the wings where the wrong side of your work could be exposed while wearing. Two strands are held together in order to give the inlay enough thickness to really stand in relief against your fabric. I pulled from both the outside and the inside of my yarn cake for the two strands. You're going to begin with a slip knot. And you're going to be working from the right side to the left side of each color block. Right to left. You're going to insert your hook at the very beginning of the slip stitch canal. Refer to the diagram in the pattern instructions to see the entry point in each stitch. You're going to go straight into that stitch that is hugging the I-cord bar, and then from underneath you're going to pull up the slip knot. Now you're going to enter the next stitch right through the center space of that stitch. And these slip stitches, the center of them is more spacious. It's because you slip them that is the case. There's more space to see the center of each stitch. So you're going to go right into the center space of the next stitch. Press all the way through to the bottom, and you're going to pull that yarn up from underneath both strands, making sure you're pulling at both strands. You're going to pull it up from underneath and then through the loop that is already on the hook. That's your next loop in the chain that you've just created. You're going to be repeating these steps into the center space all the way through to the bottom, wrapping your yarn once, both strands, pulling them up through that center space, and then through the loop that is on your crochet hook. In this way, you're creating your attached crochet chain. And you're going to repeat these steps until you get to the end of this particular slip stitch canal where the next I-cord bar is. Eventually you're going to get comfortable so that you don't have to be turning your work around to see where you're drawing the yarn from. You'll just be able to feel it. And you'll develop a rhythm. You can see here that the crochet braid is sitting nice and snug inside your canal. Your canal is framing it. And this is why it's called an inlay, because it really is sitting nice and flush inside the canal. Alright, you're coming to the end. You've created your inlay all the way through that canal across the color block. You're going to go right up to the very, very last slip stitch in your canal, as far as you can go. There's even one more. So this is going to be, you're going to be tucking underneath the I-cord bar. So you really are going to go as far as you possibly can there. Pull through for that last stitch. And then you're going to elongate the loop that is on your crochet hook. And you're doing that so that you can have something to pull through. So you're going to go underneath the I-cord bar and draw that stretched loop. You're going to draw it through to the other side, still lined up with the slip stitch canal that you're going to be working on there. But now you've pulled it underneath your I-cord bar. And you can tighten that loop that's on your hook. And you continue as you were working before. Going into the center space. All the way underneath, drawing the yarn through and pulling it through your loop, and continuing on in this fashion. And just as before, you're going to repeat these steps until you get to the end of your color block. So this method of crossing from one color block to the next is possible because you're using the same inlay color. When you're going to be changing the inlay color, as you do when you're moving from the two center color blocks to the wing color blocks, you'll be needing a different method. I'll demonstrate that method next. Now, just as before, you're coming to the end of working your crochet braid inlay for this canal on this color block, and you're going to work all the way to the last stitch of that canal, going into that last slip stitch. What's different is you're finishing with this color for this inlay. So you're going to cut your yarn and pull it all the way through that last loop on your crochet hook. And then you're just going to go in from underneath with your hook and just draw that end, that tail through, just to get it out of the way and to get it away from the front right side of your work. When you start on a new color block with a new color inlay, you will begin the way that you started with that previous color. Now you see you've completed the first method, and you can see that the underside reveals the stitches of that crochet braid inlay. The next method we learn is going to be the invisible method. You're going to begin again with a slip knot. And you're going to be looking for the horizontal bar of the first stitch that you're going to be working of the slip stitch canal. So that horizontal bar that you're looking for is actually the top of the slip stitch that you're going to be working with, the particular stitch that you're going to be working with. Remember, you're looking at everything upside down because you created the slip stitch canal in one direction from left to right, and you're working back along the canal from right to left. So that horizontal bar that I was pointing to there, you're going underneath it, and you're going to pull your slip knot loop through there. Go ahead and tighten it up as you prepare to apply this crochet braid inlay. So again, that horizontal bar was actually the top of the slip stitch that you're going to be working with here. And then you're going to go from underneath that into the left leg. What is the left leg as you are oriented to the fabric right now? When you were knitting it, it was the right leg, but now that you're working back through it, it's the left leg. So you're going to pull through both of those bars from the slip stitch and through the loop on your hook. You're going to work that a few more times so that you can see. Looking for that horizontal bar. Sliding underneath it, and then sliding underneath the leg to your left of the same stitch. You wrap your yarn and you pull it through both of those bars from the slip stitch canal and through the loop that was on your hook. Now I'm just pulling it through, pulling the yarn through in one motion through all of those. So underneath the horizontal bar, underneath the leg to your left, drawing the yarn through both bars and through the loop on your hook. And you're going to continue in this fashion across the slip stitch canal. Underneath the horizontal bar, left underneath that leg, and pull through. You're going to get comfortable with this motion, going underneath the center and then to the under the left leg. And the reason we go through the center is because we want the yarn that we're drawing through from the left hand side, going underneath that center bar really tucks it on underneath the canal. I'm going to work a few more of these and then I'll show you what's happening. Under the left edge of this braid. Under the horizontal bar, under the left leg, draw through. You'll see here that it's very neat. So the braid inlay is still sitting inside the canal, framed by the canal, but underneath the yarn, where you're drawing the yarn from the left, it's tucked in very neatly underneath the canal. And the reason it tucks in is because we go through that center horizontal bar. If we were only going through the left leg, it would be very bulky there on the left edge of the canal. But because we go through the center horizontal bar first, it tugs in the chain. It tugs it all the way in underneath the canal, making it very nice and neat. Now that you've gone across the entire slip stitch canal with the invisible method, the side drawn method, you're going to be closing it off for this color block. So you're going to elongate your stitch, your loop there, and then going through that last center space of the last slip stitch in the canal, you're going to draw the loop through to the underside of the work. This is the only time you go to the underside of the work, is when you're finishing off the inlay on a color block. So draw through to the bottom. You can see here, there's your loop. And then you're going to be drawing through your working yarn. So you're going to cut your working yarn and then go up. Nope, out of frame here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so you're going to go up from the bottom into the canal, but then the same way you did when you were working, you're going to go through the leg on the left side there. You can see there. I'm going to go underneath that, and then I'm going to hook my working yarn and draw that strand, that tail, all the way through to the bottom. I'm finding it here. Alright, there we go. We're going to draw it all the way through to the bottom where your loop is. Now you've got that tail underneath and your final inlay loop underneath. And you're just going to draw the tail through that loop in a typical crochet bind off fashion and just tighten it. Now you can continue to tutorial number 4, where I will demonstrate the applied I-cord edging. Thank you so much. See you there.